Check 1 2, check 1 2 3. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Gorlock Sports Network. My name is Kellen Furmanek, and I am joined by Scott Jensen. Scott, how are you doing?
Doing okay. Nice day for a baseball game.
Absolutely. First game of the afternoon, the Milwaukee School of Engineering Raiders facing off against your Webster University Gorlocks here at Arsenal BG Ballpark. Now, Scott, let's talk a little bit of ball. What are we thinking about today's matchup?
You know, this is the last weekend for the Gorlocks before they hit conference play. I think they had a good weekend last weekend. I think it's continue that momentum and then get ready for the games that start really counting.
Yeah, absolutely. Facing off against Greenville next weekend. While not at the top of the conference in baseball, they are all around a very good school, currently holding the first place spot in the all-conference sports points, while your Gorlock's sitting right behind them in second. It's the 1-1 chop to the right side of the infield. Should be playable. Throw to one is in time. Zach Brzezinski on the mound for the Raiders this afternoon. Last season was their main guy with a 3.6 ERA over 55 innings pitched. Picked up 34 punch-outs in those innings. His next up to the plate will be Ryan Hartz First pitch swinging down the line, foul.
Yeah, I think Milwaukee School of Engineering is sort of at the beginning of a move forward. I mean, they had a great season last year. Of course, a heartbreaking loss to them in the regionals last year here in St. Louis. We were talking before the game. They look a lot similar this year to what they were last year. So this should be a good game, a tough contest.
Certainly the main person to look out for that was lost last year was Kellen Pate, going 3.86 ERA, 70 innings pitched. Had an excellent year last year for Milwaukee. Other than that, the lineup has relatively stayed the same. Staff just about as well. And I think consistency has been the key for the Engineers. They don't have a guy that really stands out above the rest, yet they have a very solid lineup top down. They have very solid staff top down. And I think that's what got them the win over Webster last year as well, despite dropping their first game of the regionals to them. The 1-2 taken away.
Yeah, you know, I think sometimes that kind of lineup is underappreciated. I don't feel like you always want a star or two or six.
Yeah.
But I think in baseball, if you've got people who are solid and can step up when they need to step up, that works.
The 2-2 to Hart's fouled off. It'll go into the lot, and the count remains. It almost feels like you need at least one guy, at least in Milwaukee's case, to really step up this year if they want a chance of making it to the Super Regionals, falling just short last year in their loss to Belhaven in the regional finals.
Yeah, I think the locker room leadership, that experience, I think to your point that's often important. If you've got a young squad and you're trying to put on a new face, having somebody that sort of knows what that needs to look like and has been there, I think that can be a really important influence.
No doubt about that. Count full, no one on. Here's the payoff. And Hart's making it a battle.
We may see the Wind being that 11th fielder from time to time today.
We saw it mess up some of the outfielders last year, especially the ones who hadn't played in Arsenal BG Ballpark before, because it gets windy here in East St. Louis. Another 3-2, taken high for ball 4. A nice take by Ryan, and the Gorlocks have their first base runner.
Yeah, there is not a lot here to keep the wind out. So if it exists, it's going to be a factor.
Yeah, if you've never been here, it is very flat on this side of the river. And stepping up next would be Adam Mosier. The first game of last weekend, Mosier picked up an RBI triple, legging out a long one to deep left center. Had a very solid weekend, especially in the RBI department. First pitch taken wide. If you miss if you miss the top of the frame, the Gorlocks had a pretty unorthodox 1-2-3. Greifeld on the mound today gave up a walk, yet gunned the runner down.
Yeah, it was a rough start, but took care of the base runner and then settled in. So hopefully that first inning is a sign of things to come.
Groves behind the dish today. Likely had one of the best Webster Invitational performances last weekend. Another pickoff attempt. Trying to keep Hart's honest at first. The 1-0 to Mosier. Swing and a miss. I was talking about it last week with a lot of the guys up in the press box who aren't playing or weren't playing in those games, but I'm absolutely loving the pitch and exit velo tracker on the outfield scoreboard this year.
Yes.
As Mosier sends one deep to right field, be at the warning track, and the wind will hold it up. But he drops it out there, and my goodness, Hartz advances to second. That looked like a cream of corn. Can of corn.
Not going back too early. Saved us there.
So while the wind may have kept that one in, certainly did not help the right fielder Skolmer.
Yeah, they have dressed up Arsenal BG Park very nicely this year. The scoreboard is it's 100% improvement.
Mm-hmm. No doubt.
It is a beautiful park.
Both runners taken off. Throw down to 2. Will not be in time. It's a double steal for the Gorlocks as Hart and Mosier find themselves in scoring position.
That's Gorlocks baseball. I mean, they like to make some noise on the base paths.
Mm-hmm. And now with 2 men in scoring position, corners playing in. Surprised aren't seeing that middle infield play any shallower. Here's the 1-0 to Wroblewski. Taken outside. And this is not the count you want to the Gorlocks cleanup hitter, Nick Wroblewski. Especially in a situation like this. 2-0. Men on second and third. You can expect him to swing 2-0. And he does just that. Laces it to left field for a base hit. 1 run scores. Being waved around is Mosier. He'll be there easily. Wroblewski heads into second with a 2 RBI double.
That's a nice start.
Absolutely. Gorlocks strike first. And the inning's still far from over, as next up will be Reed Hippis. Hippis recorded a few hits last weekend. Moved himself a few spots up in the lineup. First pitch in there, first strike. Reed playing at the hot corner this afternoon. Runner takes off. Throw down is in time. Wroblewski gets gunned down at third. And a big out for the Raiders. Clears up the paths. So now Hippis with a clean slate will try to keep this inning going for Webster. And he'll do just that. Sends a single into left field. Just 76 off the bat, but it gets the job done. Those kinds of hits are almost always base hits. And the inning continues as a baton handed off to Dalton Groves.
Dalton's off to a good season. Let's see if we can keep it going here and at least move this runner up a little bit.
Dalton recorded 3 RBIs each in the first 2 games. While he didn't record any in the third, went 2 for 3, scoring both the times he was on the paths.
That .343 batting average is among the leaders for Webster early this season.
You love to see key position players like catcher or shortstop putting up those kinds of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it last year, especially with Carl Peters at short. Groves down the count, 0-2. He's going to have to battle back. He hits it the other way, going to the Raiders bullpen. Interesting, we already seeing some action in the Milwaukee bullpen. Very, very early for that to be taking place, but we'll see how it progresses throughout the game.
Yeah, we have one person throwing. We've got a lot of people stretching.
The 0-2 slice down the line.
That's
A
a
nice
great
grab at third. Throw to first is in time. A Manny Machado play by Charlie Kloss ends the inning for the Raiders. However, the damage has been done. A 2 RBI double from Nick Wroblewski starts the scoring for Webster as we head to the top of the second. Score 2-0 Gorlocks. On to the second we go. Camden Hoyer leading things off for the Raiders. First pitch from Greifeld will be a swing and a miss from Camden. We talked a bit earlier about the action going on in the Raiders bullpen as that one's popped up into right field. Charleston getting under and he drops it. Camden heading into second. Throw there will be in time. The Gorlocks somehow getting the put out. And there's one away.
Single throw out at second. You'd rather him not get the hit, but it's nice when you get the hit, but nobody's on base.
Yep. So next up will be Robbie Erickson. First pitch finds the zone. Robbie playing behind the dish this afternoon for the Raiders. As I was saying, the Raiders already starting up their bullpen. It's especially interesting because, you know, this weekend was supposed to be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday affair. Instead, we're looking at 3 games today, 3 tomorrow. And that can be heavy on a pitching staff when you're playing 3 games in 2 days.
The upside is Webster has a lot of arms. The downside is a lot of those arms are young.
That is true.
So but I'm guessing that that's going to be the story for all the schools here this weekend.
Pitch from Greifeld, swing and a miss, strike 3. Greifeld picks up a K and there's 2 gone.
I was talking with Bill Courage, Webster Gorlocks head coach, before the game, and the one thing he mentioned looking at the pre-conference schedule that they're just finishing up this weekend was he really wishes the defense was a little bit stronger. So if anything, if there are any takeaways going into the conference schedule, it's the defense has got to shore up a bit.
One thing to note, too, there are quite a few outs on the base paths last weekend for Webster as well, and typically you do not want those as Sometimes they can be a mistake on the runners. Other times, just good defense by the other team. But at the end of the day, now it's an out. You only got 27 of them.
And that's a big factor with, again, one of the things that's a hallmark of Webster baseball is they do like to make some noise on the base paths.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to steal. We like to
love the bunt.
Make things happen. But again, this is a largely new starting lineup. So
Yep. Saw quite a few sacrifice bunts last weekend for Webster, as Skomar on 5 pitches will take his base. So 2 outs. The Raiders will have a man on.
that's Greifeld's second pass in 2 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Had a rough start the first few non-conference games, but really came into his own last weekend. Had a great outing. So that's the other thing that Coach Kurtz was mentioning, is that he was happy to see both Carter Hunt and Ryan Greifeld have good starts last weekend.
Yeah, he really found his groove, going 8 innings of 1-run ball, only giving up 2 hits, the tune of 10 strikeouts. Like you said, obviously the conference games especially important. Glad that you can face these non-conference guys first, see where you're at, and go from there.
And it was not it was not, as they say, an easy pre-conference schedule.
No. Well, we're facing the team that dropped us last year in the regionals, so if that tells you anything, even lacrosse last weekend came into the season ranked 15th in the nation. Oshkosh, who will also be playing in this invitational, currently ranked 24th. That's what I kind of like about Webster sports. It's not just baseball that does that. There's a lot of, basketball. You see a lot of them play, putting a lot of ranked opponents in their early matchups. It's kind of like taking the weights off once you head to SLAC play. Not that SLAC opponents are any easier, but more or less just facing the really, really tough guys that will be in whatever NCAA tournament there's at.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And to your point, all of our athletic teams do that.
Mm.
There's a reason that most of our athletic teams see postseason play of the conference.
Yeah. Hitters count for Kloss. Made the excellent play to end the first. Takes a big cut at that pitch. No dice. Greifeld brings the count to full. Trying to get out of this inning unscathed. Man on first, 2 gone. Here's the payoff. Swing and a miss, strike 3. It's another punch out for Ryan Greifeld. And that'll end the second scoreless. The Gorlocks head to the bottom of the frame, still up 2-0. Gorlock's already looking for some insurance in the second inning. Ethan Wheelt will lead off. First pitch swing and a nice hit finds the gap on the left side of the infield. And Wheelt, first pitch he sees, puts himself on board with a single.
Now batting, number 5, Jacob Charleston.
Greco and Kloss over at short and third have already seen a bunch of action. And now Charleston steps up. Another first pitch swinging liner to right, should be playable, nearly burned, not realizing a large lead, able to just get back safely.
Boy, that was a
Wheeled.
little more exciting than it needed to be.
Yes.
Now batting, number 40, Braden Trissel.
Didn't even look like a deke, just didn't know if he caught it or not.
I think from his angle there on the base path, too, it was probably hard to tell because his back was to the field.
Yeah.
Was to the infield when he made the catch, and it was an awkward catch.
Braden Trissel up next. See if he also swings first pitch. He'll technically will try to put down bunt. Looks like it hit Erickson on the way down.
Catching not for the faint of heart.
It's tough. It's very tough. Looks he's right back. Get back into it. Not surprised to see Trissel trying to lay down a bunt. Did it a lot last weekend. Also got a few singles out of those bunts. The 0-1 swinging out into right, and that'll fall for a base hit. Wheel's able to get into second before the force. Now the 9-hole. Trissel putting James Theodore in a great spot.
Number 11.
It's kind of funny. You mentioned everything going down the left field line, and now the last two base hits have gone to right.
Yeah.
Maybe you should say something about no home runs yet.
Well, that's been especially true for the Gorlocks. They were the only team to not hit a homer last weekend, the Webster Invitational.
And we had a few early in the season. It looked like maybe we were going to have some power, but you're right. We haven't. It hasn't been much since.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, I'm the old guy in most of my friend groups where we talk about baseball, and I still love small ball.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons I really love watching Webster baseball. They score runs in a lot of different ways.
Mm.
And I think having that breadth of fundamentals is really important to a quality team.
What's the famous saying? Pitching, defense, and 3-run homers. Gorlocks have 2 guys on now. Theodore down the count, 0-2.
He grounded out to second his first at bat.
Hits it the other way, down the line. Foul.
Right on the line.
Oh. Can't get any closer than that. Even as that landed, the Gorlocks bench getting on their feet. Theodore will head back to the box. So the count stays the same, 0-2 to James. The delivery. Hit to right center. The same spot as Charleston's. There's 2 away. Gorlocks are making solid contact. All either sharp grounders or line outs.
And I'm guessing if it's going to right, that the wind is probably holding that down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the way the flags are blowing, it sort of looks like that's the direction that the wind's coming in.
So Hart's the last chance to keep that Gorlock scoring streak going. First pitch finds the zone.
Well, this is what Webster needed. We needed our bats to be a little bit noisier today. And so far, that's a good start.
Next pitch taken away. So far, Brzezinski has pitched at the tune of a 4.76 ERA. Over 3 appearances, 2 starts. But get this, 20 strikeouts and 0 walks to his name. He's been very efficient at finding the zone, but Hart slaps one to the left for a base hit. Runner being waved around. Play at the plate will get him. No! My goodness, it looked like Groves was dead to rights. Excuse me, Wilt was dead to rights instead. He's able to get around the tag and score.
Now batting, number 9.
What an aggressive wave by BK over at third.
I was waiting to see some noise from the Milwaukee dugout because he was borderline out of the baseline, but that was good base running. That was just good, solid base running.
So the Gorlocks score their third. Adam Mosier up next. First pitch in there. You know, this inning, the Gorlocks have really been able to find the barrel of the bat. Even with 2 outs on the board, they have not been exactly clean. Both of them line outs to right. The 1-1 to Mosier, both runners taking off again. Throw down to second will be in time. Hart's gunned down at 2. And that'll end the inning, not before he scores with an RBI single, sending us to the third. Gorlocks lead 3-0. Greifeld enters his 3rd inning of work. Kyle Mayberry out of the 8th spot will start it off. First pitch, grounder up Broadway, and he'll get through. Both teams putting up a first pitch single in their previous frames.
Now batting, number 27, Teo Greco.
So the Raiders will have another base runner. Had one each inning so far. And Now out of the 9 spot, shortstop Teo Greco. At least try to move him. First pitch finds the zone. Doesn't his bat remind you of candy corn? Look at his bat. His bat looks like candy corn, doesn't it?
Oh, my gosh. Now I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head. I'm not a big candy corn fan.
Me neither. That's the next thing I was going to ask you. Candy corn or no? There's
Oh,
always,
that may
it's
be
very
the most,
divisive.
That and Peeps, the most overrated candy in America.
The 1-1 popped up on the right side. Charleston gets under it, and he's able to make the catch. Have you ever seen those cookies? They're the sugar cookies. They're very soft, and they have the thick icing on top with like sprinkles on it. I can get a picture.
Moon pies.
No. I'll look them up for you right now.
I think I know what you're talking about.
They're usually pink.
Oh, yeah.
These ones right here.
Yes.
What's your opinion on those? Do you like them or?
You know, I'm not an icing guy.
I get that.
So, but boy, they don't last long in our house.
I can imagine there's not a lot that lasts long in your house.
No, there really isn't. Yeah, growing up with growing boys and a sister that knew she had to fight for whatever she wanted.
Leadoff man Boss down the count, 0-2 to Greifeld. Watches one upstairs. Back to the icing thing, though. I completely agree with you on the icing. I do not like cake at all.
No, I'm not a big cake fan.
Cake or cupcakes, anything like that. But I do love Carvel cakes. Ice cream cakes, those are delicious.
Well, that and I was introduced to whipped cream icing when I moved to St. Louis. So that's kind of a game changer.
I think that's what's on the Carvel cakes.
It
that
might
blue
be.
icing?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because regular icing wouldn't mix well with ice cream, I don't think.
I was planning on broadcasting today, but I'm kind of hungry.
I was just going to say, I haven't had lunch. And they do have pretty good brats here at Arsenal BG.
They do. I'm hoping the concession stand is open today. Don't have a lot of Friday games going on. But it was last weekend, so we will see. Count full to Christian Bosk. 1 man on, 1 out. Greifeld trying to keep Mayberry honest over at first.
Of all the things that makes baseball great, I think maybe it's the food. I don't know that there's a sport that has better food. Better food narrative than baseball.
Well, I wrote about baseball one time and how the smell is like one of the most important parts of it. That just you're at a baseball game. You like that's one of the only stadiums or sports where you smell it. You're like, yeah, I'm at a baseball park. I don't even open my eyes.
I think that's fair. It's out largely outdoors. It's in the summer when your nose still works. It's not frozen.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
And it's weird, despite most of the snacks being savory here, you get that sweet smell. Here's the 3-2 to Bosk. Taken downstairs for ball 4. Be another walk from Greifeld. And the Raiders, first time today, have 2 men on.
That's a walk each frame, but he's got, knock on wood, he's gotten out of it, so we'll see what happens here. Coach Kurtz is going to go out and have a chat.
I think that sweet smell comes from the kettle corn that's always cooking at the ballparks. I think that smell takes over almost anything. When you're, especially, Major League ballparks will always have kettle corn.
Love kettle corn.
Yeah.
I had my granddaughter came out and was at the game last weekend, and I introduced her to Cracker Jacks for the first time. That is now the Pops Ellie combination is Cracker Jacks. I feel like that's important for grandparents to introduce their grandkids to the most important things in life.
Baseball and Cracker Jack.
Baseball and Cracker Jack.
I can't disagree with you there. It's funny, my dad wanted me to golf so bad when I was a kid, and I could just never get into it. But one thing I could always get into was baseball, and that was finally the sport he found me, and it was like, you know what, I want that to stick, and it did.
That's great. That's great.
He was a big Red Sox fan, though, so he still is. But I've been trying to convert him, even though he lives down in Tampa, try to convert him to a Rays fan. I've been somewhat successful, but still can't knock the Boston out of him.
It's hard not to have some fandom when you live in a big league town.
Yeah.
That's been me with St. Louis.
Pickoff attempt over at 2 will be safe. Greifeld took a tumble.
I'm a lifelong Cubs fan, but living in St. Louis, I can't not like the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm. Well, it feels like a lot of those rivalries have just been lost to time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I think the schedule change has not helped.
yeah.
There are a lot fewer interdivisional games, and I think that's been bad for the rivalries.
I mean, even the Red Sox-Yankees rivalry has really dwindled, especially over the last decade.
Yeah, I think the Cubs are only going to be in St. Louis 7 times this year.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
It's funny, the Rays are actually playing opening day here in St.
Yes.
Louis, so I'll be going to that. You don't usually get the chance to watch the Rays play at a National League ballpark, but it'll be my first time. The 2-1 to A.J. Lee. Inside for a ball. You'd tell Greifeld wanted that one.
He did. Yep.
So the left fielder in a hitter's count. Trying to make something happen. Takes a hack. That'll be fouled. Will it stay in play? It will not. 2 stands short. Center fielder Jake Frank stands on deck.
There's a little bit of a hole between short and third with them having to protect the runner, the second base.
Yeah. Pick off over at 2. Oh, so
Boy,
close.
that was close.
Whew. Very, very close. It's a big lead at second by Mayberry. Owen covering 1 for Bosk. The payoff is lined up Broadway. A long run for Theodore, and it burns him. Both runners, Mayberry just in front of Bosk, heading to the plate, and there will be no play anywhere. It's a 2 RBI triple from A.J. Lee. And that's one way to get in this game. It's a very deep part of the ballpark out there in center. Very well hit from Lee. And now all Gorlocks playing in on the infield grass. Trying to cut down AJ at home.
Yeah, Theodore's got some speed, but he was just shallow enough that could not quite reach that ball.
Yeah. First bounces right in front of the warning track. If a ball like that is pulled.
Well, and I think
right
it might
side.
have just had a little more trajectory than even I thought it had, too. When it got into the air, it seemed like it carried a bit more.
The 1-1. Be just outside. But if a ball like that is pulled in Arsenal Ballpark, it's going over the fence, that short fence out and right.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-1 to Franks. That one drilled to right field, going back at the track, at the wall. And it's caught!
Holy
It is caught!
cow.
And it looks like Lee took off for third, thought it was a homer, and they get the double play. What a catch by Adam Mosier and right.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
My, oh my.
I'm not really sure what Milwaukee, what their coaching staff is appealing, but
So the inning will end there despite giving up 2 runs. Everyone on the Gorloks bench cheering on Adam Mosier, who robbed a homer to get the out at third for the double play. After Lee took off early, the Gorloks maintain their lead as we head to the bottom of the third. Score 3-2 Webster. And Mosier, the hero of the top of the frame, stepping up first.
we'll see what Webster does with that. Something like that at the end of the end of an inning, that can really ignite a team when they come back up.
Like all sports, momentum definitely a key as Mosier sends one deep to left field, going back, and what a day for Adam Mosier. My goodness. Hitting off the brick out and left, and it's 4-2 Webster.
Someone needs to tell Adam to, share the spotlight. That's dynamite. That's his first homer of the season.
104 off the bat of Adam. And Wroblewski has to follow that up. First pitch, hack, but no dice.
Well, this is a baseball day he'll remember.
And it's just the third inning. Second pitch will be wide. Wroblewski knew it all the way. We're already seeing that momentum. Gorloks have scored in each of their 3 innings. Wroblewski down in the count. Zinski trying to pick up a punch out. Foul tip. Erickson's already taken a beating today. Umpire coming out to check on him. Wroblewski trying to keep the party going. Count 1 and 2. Good eye.
Nick doubled to left his first at bat. See if he can go 2 for 2 here.
Scored the first runs of the game for Webster as he pops one up on the right side of the infield. Getting under and making the catch will be Bosk. And there's one away.
Now batting, number 19, Reed Hippus.
Now up to the plate, Reed Hippus. First pitch to him will be down low.
Reed also went to left his first at bat.
Brzezinski got tagged his first time through the order. And after that double from Wroblewski, we saw some early action in the Milwaukee bullpen. Still going on now.
Mm-hmm.
Got to wonder how long his day will last.
It's a 4-2 game, so it's a little surprising that there's action early. These teams have to play 3 games over the course of the next 2 days, so I think pitching is going to be part of that managing strategy for these coaching staffs.
This will be the lone game for Milwaukee today. But they'll play tomorrow, 10 a.m. versus Oshkosh, and then back-to-back games against Hanover. Hippus takes a hack at one. Almost like a golf swing. He brings the count to full.
You know, this is a golfing team. They, I think probably half of them you can find at a golf course if they've got a day off and it's a nice day.
Let's just hope it doesn't ruin their swings.
Right. Right.
The payoff to Hippus. Down the line, foul. I love seeing the Gorloks bullpen full. Whenever a fair ball goes into the bullpen, they all scatter. They go everywhere. Try not to get hit by the ball. Still full for Reed. And he takes it high for ball 4. Another base runner for Webster.
Now batting, number 13, the catcher, Dalton Groves.
And up next, Dalton Groves.
Grounded out on a great play by the Milwaukee third baseman in his first at bat. Probably a little bit of a feeling of maybe being robbed, so maybe he can get one back here.
First pitch taken down low, nice stop. Peel. It's no good. Coming into this game, Hippus 2 for 2 on stolen bases, but do have a southpaw on the mound in Brzezinski. Him and Erickson behind the dish have already gunned down one runner. The 1-1 to Groves. Chopper to the left side. It'll be foul. Kloss over at third, trying to keep his head on a swivel.
Groves tends to hit to left, but with some speed on first, there's an opportunity there between first and second.
Do have Hoyer over there at 1, being pulled off the bag.
Looks like the sun's trying to find its way out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm hoping it does. Still an overcast day and obviously windy here in Sauget. The Sunday games got rescheduled to be a 3-3 affair on Friday and Saturday this weekend due to some rain. 2-2 over to second, could be a double play. Throw to 2, over to 1. It's in time. So the Raiders get out of it. However, Adam Mosier, after robbing a homer in the top of a frame, sends one deep over the left field wall for a homer of his own as we head to the top of the fourth. Score now 4-2 Webster. The Raiders putting up a 2 spot in the top of the third. Still playing from behind as the Gorloks just one step ahead. Greifeld entering his 4th inning of work. You can tell the Gorloks coaching staff really want him to go deep in this game and any game he pitches. And he's got the ability to do so.
Yeah, Greifeld, a preseason All-American. He's coming off an amazing year last year and found that groove last weekend. Looked like the Greifeld of old. So hopefully we'll see that again today.
He was one of the best pitchers in the nation last year. So there's a slow looper to the right side. And
That's
a nice
great
catch by Wielt. Over the shoulder grab. And there's one away.
So web gems today by the Gorloks. Talking to Coach Courage before, again, I think I mentioned this. I asked him what his takeaways so far have been from the pre-conference schedule, and the first thing that he mentioned is the defense just needs to firm up a bit. We are seeing that so far today.
Yep. It's funny, the only misplay was by Charleston on that pop-up, but he's still able to get the out at second. So no harm, no foul.
And I think that poise is important. I mean, you know, errors are errors, but you gotta being able to recover quickly.
This Raiders team has some good legs on the base paths as well. Over their 10 games played as a team, they've stolen 25 bases. So you got to watch out for them, especially when the ball's in play. We already saw a 2 RBI triple last inning by A.J. Lee.
Windy days make those throws to second a little trickier, too.
2-2. Another one fouled off. Erickson staying alive against Greifeld. A quality at bat for the catcher. Here it comes. A slow roller to the right side. Going to be a close play. Barehanded throw to first, and what a scoop at one by Wield.
That was a fine play.
All around, an excellent job by Charleston and Wield.
Number 2, Jordan Skolmar.
That ball just stopped.
Yeah.
It was rolling as slow as it possibly could have with still rolling forward.
Skolmar, the last chance for the Raiders in this one. Takes a hack at that first one, be in there for a strike.
And that last grounder, he's got to have the speed to get to the ball. He's got to be down on it. He's got to make the throw without falling, without doing a forward roll with all that momentum. That's a tough play.
In Arsenal Ballpark, all turf, you never know what's going to happen with those slow rollers or the choppers you see on that left or right side of the infield. The 1-1, taken well away.
Garlock's playing Skolmar straight away.
Skolmar has clubbed a homer this season. As he drills one to left, and that'll fall down for a base hit. So the inning continues as the Raiders try to set up a 2-out rally.
Gorlock still looking for their first 1-2-3 inning.
Greifeld, quite a few of those in his game last weekend against Buena Vista. Baton handed off to Charlie Kloss. Watches the first one hit in the zone. What I love so much about Greifeld is just his arsenal. Feels like he used so many different pitches. And you saw that one going 73. And he doesn't have to pound the zone with high 90s. His fastball sticking around mid to high 80s. Still getting the job done in the same spot that one's laced. Another one falling in front of Hart's in left field. And the show goes on for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think for me, if I look at Major League pitchers, the two that I've always been most struck with are Sandy Koufax and Greg Maddux.
Mm-hmm.
You've got somebody that could throw fire and somebody who admittedly didn't have a fastball.
Yeah.
But the amazing accuracy and control that Greg Maddux had is just unbelievable. It's hard to battle that kind of pitching when you've got a lot of different pitches you can throw and you can put them where they need to be.
Mayberry sends one into right field. Now get down for a base hit all the way to the wall. 1 run scores. Everyone holding up everywhere, and the ball gets away. Throw to home will be offline. No one covering third. And some infield mishaps allow 2 runs to score, and the Raiders tie up this ball game. Entire sequence there. Mosier gets it, throws it in, misses the cutoff man.
Just about had to take it home, but Groves could not hold on to the ball.
It's a good read by Klaus. He's the last man to score on that play. Looked like the Gorlocks had him dead to rights, but the throw was off. Groves keeps that ball in front of him. So 3 straight singles. Excuse me, 3 straight base hits. That one was a double from Mayberry. By the way, 3 straight hits with 2 outs for the Raiders. 1-0 popped out of play.
So now we regroup. We got to get this last out.
Oh.
That's
Gorlocks have already been playing ahead the entire day. Now, tie ball game. Don't want to give up that go-ahead run. They'll do just that. Greco puts one into right center. And the Raiders take a 5-4 lead in the top of the 4th.
Now batting, number 20, Christian Boss.
4 straight hits for the bottom of the Raiders lineup. We head to the top with Christian Bosk.
and Bosk is 0 for 2 for 2 walk with 2 walks today.
We'll have another mound visit from BK. We're seeing some arms warm up in the Webster bullpen. Looks like Eli and Paula Matthews warming up in the Webster bullpen. Third starter last year for Webster. Saw him come out of the bullpen last weekend, the Webster Invitational.
He started the game earlier this season, but it sort of looks like he's fallen into the bullpen, and he's done a great job coming out of the pen so far this season.
With him being a starter, you know he can go for a long relief appearance as well. But like we were talking about earlier with the Raiders, you don't really want to resort to the bullpen this early in your first of 3 games over 2 days. Especially with a guy like Greifeld on the mound.
I was just going to say, I think it's even more complicated when you have your top starter.
Yeah.
You want to see him go as many innings as you can, and you want to have the trust that he's going to get out of this.
So still 2 outs to the Raiders, but 4 straight hits for the Milwaukee lineup. As they send it back to the top of the lineup with the second baseman, Christian Bosk. First pitch in there for a strike.
He walked his first at bat and was picked off trying to steal second, and then walked and scored in the third. So he has been on base both of his appearances so far.
Coming into this one, he's recorded 14 hits over 10 games. Good for a .350 batting average. Does he go around? Yes, he does. Only man with a higher batting average, A.J. Lee, stands right behind him on deck. The 0-2, taken high. Webster trying to stop the bleeding. The 1-2, another one low and away. Good look by Bosk. And from 0-2 to full, what a battle from the Raiders' second baseman.
So now First base is going to step away. First baseman's going to step away, and let's see what happens.
And there it is. Greifeld picks up the K to end the inning. However, a 2-out rally from the Raiders. 4 straight hits. Puts up a 3 spot in the top of the 4th. As Milwaukee now holds the lead over Webster. We head to the bottom of the frame. We'll be right back. The Gorlocks now playing from behind. And while they've scored in each of their 3 innings so far, bit of a crooked number from the Raiders has already turned this game upside down. His first pitch swinging down the right field line from Wielt. Fall down the Raiders bullpen.
Will led off the second with a single and scored a run, so he is 1 for 1 in his only plate appearance so far.
Brzezinski facing the 7, 8, 9 of the Webster order. Second pitch in there. Wielt in a 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. A nice take. An ugly swing, still able to put it in play. Throw across the diamond. Will not get to first as Hoyer over at 1 is unable to pick it. And good things happen when you put the ball in play. Calling it an error. I believe that'll be credited to Charlie Kloss over at 3rd. Up next will be Jacob Charlson. Sun's starting to peek out even more, despite the clouds. As Jacob takes a hack down low.
Jacob Jr. from New Mexico, so I'm sure he is less than appreciative of these cool days at Arsenal BG. But
the 1-1 fly ball into left, going back to the track. And the catch will be made there. A long fly from Jacob, but I'm unable to find outfield grass.
Number 40, the second baseman.
There's one away for Braden Trissel.
Trissel singled to right last at bat, so we'll see if he can continue that here.
Try to place down a bunt. This next one gets away. Throw down. Will not be in time. A nice read by Wielt. Taken off the instant that one got away from Erickson. Trying to lay down a bunt in his first pitch, but now Klaus playing, creeping in over on that third base side. But he's got to watch out with Wielt now in scoring position. The 1-0 taken away.
Yeah, both of the corners, it almost looks like Milwaukee's not quite sure what to defend here.
Now the 2-0 to Braden. Pops it up. Catch is made. A 2-0 pop-up from Braden. Puts 2 outs on the board for Webster. The final chance would be James Theodore.
James Theodore.
0 for 2 on the day, with his last at bat being a solid fly ball out to right. So we'll see what can happen here. Looking for his first hit.
Theodore last season, 3rd team all-region, had an excellent year. Swiped 38 bases on 40 attempts. And he drills one to left. And a nice catch by Lee will end it. And the Gorlocks have their first 0 spot of the game as the Raiders still lead 5-4. We'll be right back. So the Raiders now in the driver's seat. A.J. Lee will start off the 5th. He opened up the scoring with a 2-out, 2 RBI, or excuse me, a 1-out, 2 RBI triple. So he laces one to left and gets another hit. He'll hold up at 1. And once again, the Raiders have their leadoff man aboard. It's the team's 8th hit of the afternoon.
Number 25, center fielder, Jake Franks.
It's a great effort by Hippis. Just about had that, pulled that line drive down.
Found the perfect spot on the infield to get through. Smart of Greifeld to check on Lee. Over first, he's already swiped 5 bases this year. As Franks tries to pull back a bunt, but fouls it off. So far, Lee perfect on the paths, going 5 for 5. He stays put, and that ball will be outside.
Gorlock's still very much in this game. Greifeld's got to find his groove and just settle in. Defense has stepped up. this game with a couple of great web gems.
We know both lineups can string together some hits. I'm expecting this one to be a pretty high scoring matchup. The 1-1 popped out of play. And all four of the Raiders' losses this season, they've given up double-digit runs. Even lost via mercy rule against Slag's own Westminster just a few days ago. Final score 14-4 Jays. The 1-2 swing and a miss, strike three. Another punch out for Greifeld, and there's one away.
Now batting, number 33, Canton Hoyer.
Warriors 0 for 2 on the day. Fouled out to to our first baseman the last inning.
It was an excellent play by Wielt. Diving catch over the shoulder. It's almost like a wide receiver catch.
Seems like there's something just inherent about foul territory, that the ball just goes wherever it wants to go.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like foul balls are always a little more exciting in foul territory.
Yeah. It always feels like a lot more balls are dropped in foul territory than fair territory as well. So that's what makes them exciting.
Still action in the Gorlock pen.
Next one just outside. Gorlock's still playing another game today at 3 o'clock. They'll face off against the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. The first team of the weekend to play back-to-back games. Not just 2 in one day, but quite literally taking the field about 60 minutes after this one ends.
That'll be a matchup against a top 25 team.
That'll be an interesting one as Hoyer goes down swinging. Back-to-back Ks for Ryan Greifeld.
Now batting, the catcher, number 7, Robbie Erickson.
Two men gone. One man on. Be Robbie Erickson. Erickson was that last out before the 2-out rally the Raiders put up in the last inning. Start with Jolin Skolmer, who stands on deck. Tries to take a hack on that ball outside.
Erickson has struck out once today. He went down on strikes his second inning. He's quickly behind on the count here.
Greifeld, one strike away from a solid inning. Gave up a hit to A.J. Lee, who started the inning. Nothing in 2, line to right, and that'll fall for a base hit. Mosier getting it in quickly, and the inning continues for the Raiders. As the baton is handed off to Skolmer.
Number 2, right fielder, Jordan Skolmar.
I think this is going to be it.
Yep. We'll have a call to the bullpen, so Greifeld's day is done, going 4 2/3, giving up 5 runs, responsible for the 2 men on. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. With Greifeld's day done, up steps Elijah Rapala Matthews. Try to close the door on the 5th inning. Eli this season has pitched 13 innings, tune of a 1.38 ERA, 14 punch-outs. So far has had an excellent year. Coming out of the bullpen for a lot of this season.
He started out as a starter and then found the bullpen and has done a great job.
And with the loss of Joel Arsenal last year, I think someone like him in relief is really important.
Yeah, Joel was essential in that closing role last year, and he was lights out.
Led Division III in saves, first team all-region. Somehow second team all-conference, but first team all-region.
When that was announced, I was a little bit baffled.
It's something.
I think sometimes relief pitchers just don't get the love.
Yeah. He had such a crazy windup too, almost submarine style.
And often for that third strike, he would come over the shoulder.
Oh, the hammer. The 1-2 to Skolmer, line foul. And when he went overhand, even if the guys watch the tape, hitters would not know what to do with that ball. I saw some ugly swings on that 2-strike pitch. The 1-2 from Eli. Chopped foul.
Tell you, sometimes that's an underappreciated part of hitting is being able to see that ball out of the hand. More you can see it, the sooner you can see it.
It's a game of milliseconds. It's been a good battle for Skolmer, trying to make something of it. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A big punch out for Eli. As the Gorlocks put up a 0 spot as we head to the bottom of the 5th. We'll be right back. Ryan Hart's leading off the 5th. Gorlocks trail by a run. They're able to shut the door on the Raiders' offense the last inning, pop up on the infield. Coming over to third, from third is Klaus to make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out for Milwaukee.
Yeah, Rapella Matthews stopped what could have been an ugly inning, and now it's time for the Gorlocks bats to wake up and, well, actually not even to wake up. We've got 6 hits through 4, so it's not been a bad offensive day. We just got to put a couple more across the plate now.
Mosier hit a solo shot his last time up. Yeah, the Gorlocks scoring streak stopped in the 4th after putting up 2 runs in the 1st, another run in the 2nd, and another run in the 3rd. We're unable to do anything in the 4th. But they did have some action on the base paths. Just unable to drive anyone in. The 1-1 to Mosier. Swing and a miss. Took a big hack on that pitch.
They've managed to have a base runner every inning, and coming into this game, it was a lot of Webster's first games. We were sort of quiet the first couple innings, so it was nice to see a little bit of difference today.
There's a line out over to second. Easy grab for Bosk.
The designated hitter, number 8.
And I'm sure that was a big question mark for Coach BK after losing so many talented hitters last season. Just ridiculous the amount of hitting we had. Evan Evola was the main star of the show, as there's a liner, a nice diving catch over at first by Camden Hoyer, and a quick inning for Brzezinski and the Raiders as they send us to the top of the 6th. We'll be right back. Paula Matthews into his first full inning of relief. Came in to shut the door on the Raiders in the 5th after a few runners.
He's facing their 7, 8, and 9, and they are 4 for 6 on the day with 3 runs scored so far. So, be nice to see Webster be able to shut this bottom of the order down.
Chopper over to short. Throw to 1 is not in time. Bit of a delayed throw from Charleston. It'll be an infield single for Charlie Kloss.
He made that closer than I thought he would on that throw. That was an awkward pickup. Again, with this turf, bounces are sort of unpredictable.
Raiders have been particularly good at getting that leadoff man on the base paths. They do it once again. Up to double digits on the hit column.
Mayberry's 2 for 2 on the day, and he scored both times that he's been on the bases. So we need to keep him off the bases.
Yep. Hit a roller up the single, or excuse me, hit a roll up the middle for a single his first time up, then shot one into the corner for a double his next time. So if he wants to hit all fields, you can expect this one to go to left. As he fouls that one off towards the Gorloks bullpen. The count is 1-2. Pickoff attempt. Matthews is the first righty on the mound today. So we'll see if the Raiders try to take advantage. May not have the best eye on the runner at 1. But still trying to keep Charlie honest over there. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3.
It's a tough pitcher to face. When you're 6'6" and you've got a fastball that touches 90, that explains some of his success that he's had this season so far. Sadly, he's one of a lot of seniors on the roster for Webster this year.
The wingspan really does something with the pitching as well. I mean, it feels like he's coming right at you on that fastball. You're shortening the distance between the release and the plate. So sometimes even though it's 90, it may look like it's 95 from a shorter pitcher.
Threw that one in at 88. Webster defense again still playing straight away. Grego's last at bat was a hit out to right center.
Matthews just 6 punch-outs away from 100 career strikeouts with Webster. Runner takes off, but a foul tip will send him back to first. He started his first game back in 2023 when he was a freshman. The ball gets past Groves.
You know, it's always fun to look at the Webster roster. This coaching staff does a great job of bringing folks in from all across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Eli's from Chicago. They've got a lot of players from Colorado. But I haven't counted the states, but there are multiple states represented.
And there's ball for Greco. A nice plate appearance. Was able to bring the count to full. Fills up that open spot at first. And the Raiders once again send it to the top of the lineup with Christian Bosk.
He's 1 for 1 with 2 walks and a run scored. Struck out his last time at the plate.
I'm glad you mentioned the whole thing about Chicago with Eli, and so how many other of these guys are just from all over the place, and that's so true with every sport at Webster.
Mm-hmm. Our coaches work hard. Fortunately, we've got a good product to sell.
And even internationally as well. Main goal scorer for last year for men's soccer team, Scott Price, all the way from Wales.
I was just going to say, men's soccer this year in particular had such a strong international roster.
Absolutely, and there's a double play turned by Webster. 5-4-3 to end the inning. As they pick up another scoreless frame, we head to the bottom of the 6th. Score remains 5-4 Raiders. Gorlock's still in a 1-run ball game, playing catch up. Hippus pops up the first one into center. Should be playable, and it is. It's another first pitch out for Brzezinski, who we were worried at the beginning of the game may not go long. He enters his 6th inning of work. Still pushing.
Now batting, number 13.
Well, and they had their first 1-2-3 inning last inning, or he had his first 1-2-3 inning last inning.
Since that solo shot from Mosier in the 3rd, the Gorlock's lineup has not had much answer.
We've only had 2 base runners since then.
Yeah.
One was on a walk and the other was on an error, so we haven't had a hit since that home run.
Usually the hitters do better their 2nd, 3rd time through the lineup. Instead, their first. A lot better than the later innings. 1-1 to Gross finds the zone for strike 2. But he's been very efficient at getting these Gorlocks outs. Hasn't struck out many, but forcing some bad contact. As I say that, Groves goes down swinging.
Now batting, number 30, first baseman, Ethan Wheels.
Well, Milwaukee last inning ended the inning with 2 amazing web gems back to back. But to your point, without not many pitches in between.
It's a big hack from Wielt. Another one popped up. This one on the left side of the infield, ranging from short is Greco to make the grab. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for the Raiders. We go into the 7th. Score remains 5-4 Milwaukee. To the 7th inning we go. Matthews, his 2nd full inning of relief. His first one's given a ride to left. Should stay in the ballpark. And catch at the warning track.
Now batting. Center fielder.
Seen a lot of first pitch outs from both teams today.
Really have. It'll be interesting. Eli's very much a strikeout pitcher, so see how much contact Milwaukee's able to get off of him. Had 1 strikeout last inning and got Boston to ground out and do a double play to end it.
Last year, in a starter role, Matthews, 3.91 ERA over 46 innings. And with 46 strikeouts, also gave up 17 walks. This year, about the same ratio before coming into this one. 14 punch-outs, 5 walks, over 13 innings. It didn't give up many hits, just a 1.15 whip to his name. I really do love the whip stat. It tells you a lot about a pitcher, especially as the game turns more towards a 3 true outcome kind of game. It can tell you a really good portion of what a pitcher's able to do, and I think it's told a great story about Rampala Matthews so far.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of ways of measuring excellence in baseball. I mean, it's just that kind of sport. And it sort of makes sense that it's the sports that is the most analytically rich of all sports because there's just so much to measure.
Yeah. You really have to look at the full picture, too. You can't just look at one stat. You know, there's so many others, and, you know, you got to take everything and obviously as a broadcaster, use everything that you have. Obviously, the stats are a lot more important for the hitters, though. This first pitch will find the outside part of the plate.
Well, in the pitchers, you've got the difference in the roles as well, right? I mean, your analytics are going to look so much different for a relief pitcher or for a closer or for a starter. Makes it really hard to draw conclusions across the board for that position. I will say at the end of the day, stats like Ks and bases on balls, they are Ks and bases on balls.
Yep.
No matter where you are in that rotation.
Yep. And obviously, stats don't tell the full story either. Especially in college ball, when the game is a lot less refined, as all these guys are still trying to learn, make their way towards either professional league or, you know, just finishing their baseball careers in college.
I sometimes wonder what kind of manager I would be if I could really manage.
Going laced to right, and it'll fall for a base hit. Go off the legs of Mosier. Now allow Franks to head into third, so the
So
Raiders.
that was a great effort by Mosier to keep that ball in front of him.
Absolutely. Using his body, and the Raiders have men on the corners.
I was going to say, I often wonder if I could manage a baseball team in an analytically driven way and just ignore the gut. You know, and a lot of respect for managers that have to find that balance.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just, you know, Joe Madden, I think, was given a lot of credit, it still is, as a manager, as somebody that just sort of measured by the gut, or, you know, managed by the gut.
Well, it's been interesting as a Rays fan myself to look at that, because Joe Madden was the Rays manager before heading over to a bunch of different teams before ending up with the Cubs. But, you know, we went from Joe Madden to Kevin Cash, two completely different managers when you talk about, you know, going with the gut feeling on Madden's side to Kevin Cash, who is essentially all analytics. And both work in their own ways. And you're right, it's tough to find that balance. And it's tough as a manager, because at the end of the day, if, you know, something happens that you can't really control, then who's going to be blamed? You will.
Mm-hmm. Captain goes down with the ship.
We'll have another mound visit here. No one in the bullpen for Gorlock, so BK just checking on Eli. Saw a long discussion with the Raiders coaching staff. So those Hoyer and Franks who were on the paths.
Milwaukee had a long discussion. It looks like their manager over the third base coach is now telling the umpire that, hey, they can't, there's a limit to how long they can stay on the mound.
Looks like home plate umpire coming to break things up.
This is a critical spot for Webster. They're down by 1 in the 7th. The bats have gotten a little quieter in the last couple of innings. They really need to limit the damage here.
Milwaukee has not had to resort to their bullpen just yet. Brzezinski.
Always thinking this runner on first and third, when the catcher goes out to give the signals, it's sort of head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
So we'll see what happens. 2 men on, show and bunt. Runner takes off, but the ball gets away from Groves. Not too far, though. As Frank stays put at third. So free base for Camden Hoyer. Now 2 men in scoring position. Gorlock's infield
That takes
coming into the grass.
That takes that force away at first as well, or at second now as well.
Erickson was showing bunt, so I wonder if they'll try it again. It's up in the count, 2-0. He may take a strike here.
Erickson put the ball into right field last at bat. He's 1 for 3 on the day with a strikeout.
He'll take a pitch. Didn't look like he had any intent on swinging that one, but was not showing bunt, so we'll see what he does here. The 2-1 takes a hack but fouls it off.
Matthews is now ahead in the count.
Big pitch here. But 2-2 for Erickson. 2 men in scoring position, looking for some much-needed insurance. And there's a swing and a miss, strike 3.
That was a pivotal at bat. We got one.
Big K for Rapala Matthews. The inning still far from over, 2 outs. Jordan Skolmer, last chance of the Raiders now.
He's the one batter that Matthews faced in the 5th and got him swinging, so Skolmar is 1 for 2 with a walk on the day, and he scored a run.
With the Gorlocks down by a run, Matthews doesn't get a good count on him, may just send him to first. The 1-1 to the right fielder. Be in there.
And once again ahead on the count.
Matthews just 1 strike away, getting out of this inning unscathed. 2 men in scoring position, 2 outs. The delivery. In there for strike 3. Eli is hyped as he picks up back-to-back Ks to end the inning. It's another 0 spot put up by Webster as we head to the bottom of the 7th. Score remains 5-4 Raiders.
Now batting. Number 5, Jacob Charleston.
After the 7th inning stretch, JC leads off the bottom of the 7th. So the first pitch fall in there for a strike. Zach Brzezinski in his 7th inning of work. That Raiders bullpen probably throwing over 100 pitches over there. He started work in the first after he gave up a 2 spot, but it's been very clean since then. A homer in the 3rd by Adam Mosier has been all for Webster. So there's a looper into left field, and it'll fall for a base hit. Jacob holds up at 1, and the Gorloks have their leadoff man.
That's Charleston's first trip to first on the day, so it's a good way to start things off in the 7th.
Number 40, second baseman, Brady Trissel.
Milwaukee's got a lefty and a righty up in their pen.
Looks like we'll have a conversation with Trissel and Charleston.
Trissel's 1 for 2, popped up to second last time.
Looks like we'll have a pinch runner coming in for Charleston. Charleston's still out there talking with BK.
It's not atypical for Webster to try to construct some excitement in these spots.
So Charleston stays on. Trissel still at the plate, so we'll have another mound visit. Inverse of what happened last inning. The talk with the base runners from the Raiders and the Gorloks taking their mound visit. Milwaukee doing the same.
The coaching staffs know each other well. There are 2 former Gorlok coaches and players that are on this Milwaukee team, and I think that always makes a game a little bit more exciting.
Absolutely.
Puts a little bit more at stake.
So leadoff single from Jacob Charleston. He represents the tying run. He stands at first. Struggled in his first 2 games last weekend in the Webster Invitational, yet on Sunday, despite a 3-10 loss against North Park, went 2 for 4. Trissel puts down an amazing bunt down the third base line. No play at second. Throw to 1 is not in time. It's another bunt single for Braden Trissel.
It does not get better than that. That did not set up the bunt in the box, so caught everybody by surprise. That and having some speed.
The Raiders coaching staff having a discussion with the umpiring crew. Obviously can't overturn.
Number 11, James
Safe call.
Theodore.
So now Theodore stepping up with 2 men on and no outs. You see the corners playing in. As you can imagine, it's a good chance Theodore tries to lay down bunt, push both over.
Again, somebody with some speed, you could get down to that line quickly.
See what they do. First pitch, he shows it. The ball bounces away. However, Erickson is able to keep it in front of him. Still no indication of if it's a ball or a strike.
It looked like he attempted, but I
didn't see
know.
him pull it back, but either way. Next one is an amazing one, even better than the first. And it's back-to-back bunt singles for Webster. And the Raiders both times knew they were coming, yet were unable to do anything with them. My, oh my. And the bases are juice for Ryan Hartz.
And Hartz is 1 for 2. He has singled to left in the second inning, walked in the first, and he scored.
The Gorloks in the core of their lineup. First pitch swinging, grounder to third, throw to 1 is in time, toss to first, and it is not in time, and the Raiders bench fired up. So fielder's choice at home. Nearly a huge double play for the Raiders. And still with ducks on the pond, upsets Adam Mosier.
Let's see if he can keep things up here. He scored twice.
Hit a long solo shot in the third inning after robbing a homer in the top of the frame. He's had a big day. Could make it even bigger with one swing of the bat.
And probably ought to have gotten a hit in his fifth inning. And the second baseman just made a great play to rob him of a hit. So he is seeing the ball well today.
Fouled off 2 pitches, down the count, 0-2. Want to at least put something in play. The pitch. Another one fouled off, well off the plate. Be in the stands. Mosier not making it easy on Brzezinski. Three men on, 1 out. The 0-2 taken away. With Mosier fouling off 3 pitches, you could have imagined they're going to throw a waste pitch to him, try to get him chasing.
If Mosier gets on, I would not be surprised Milwaukee going to the pen after this.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A big K for Zach Brzezinski. And just like that, there's 2 outs. Still no one scoring for Webster.
Number 8, the designated hitter.
And with nowhere for him to go, the cleanup man, Nick Grabluski, will try to make something of this inning.
He has a double on the day, and again, another really hard-hit line drive to the first baseman to end the inning at last his bat. So he would love to make amends on that great defensive play and put one in play here.
First pitch had some motion on it. The 0-1, taken well away. Pitch almost looks like a knuckleball. He's really has a lot of weird spin on it. Even from up here, can't imagine what it looks like from the batter's box. The 1-1. Foul tipped.
He was late on that.
So Brzezinski, after giving up, bases loaded with no outs. Grabluski in the box. 2 gone, bases juiced. The 1-2 taken away.
Grabluski's got to protect here and find his pitch.
2s across the board for the DH. Gorlock's still down by a run. Swing and a miss, strike 3. No! What's the call? It's called for a foul tip. And the inning continues. My goodness. A late call, foul tip. Everyone on the Raiders bench thought the inning was over. Instead, the Gorlocks get a second life. Count stays the same, 2-2.
Here we go.
Here it comes. Taken downstairs. A decisive pitch.
Everybody's going to be going here.
Bases loaded, 2 outs.
This is the pitch of the game so far.
Here's the payoff. Oh, popped in foul ground. And it'll fall. It's unfortunate the bullpen catcher just trying to get out of the way, didn't know where that one was. Gonna bring the Raiders fielders to a full sprint. The Raiders bench is gonna get loud if they get out of this one.
Yeah, there's going to be some noise regardless of the bench at this point. This is a key play here.
In there for strike 3. A backwards K from Brzezinski to get out of a bases loaded, no out situation. As the Gorloks held scoreless, we head to the top of the 8th, score 5-4 Raiders. Back on for the 8th inning. And the Raiders trying for some insurance. First pitch taken down low. It's from Paula Matthews still on the mound for Webster.
Puts a lot of pressure on a pitcher when you come out with the bases loaded and your team gets close, but they can't turn anything around in that inning.
Especially in a 1-run ball game. You want to keep everything close. And Paula Matthews facing the 7, 8, 9 of the Raiders order.
And we've mentioned it before, but this bottom of the order today has been really productive.
Yes.
Three of their 5 runs have come out of these last 3 hitters.
Saw 4 straight hits from the 6, 7, 8, 9 of that Milwaukee order, leading to a 3-run 4th, just giving them the lead they have not relinquished. So there's a popper, could land, and it finds no man's land. Out and right. On a 3-1 pitch, Kloss puts up another leadoff single for Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was just in a bad spot. Tough for either the right fielder or the second baseman to get over there.
Next up is DH Kyle Mayberry. Show and bunt, runner takes off. It's a nice one. Only play is going to be at first, but it's thrown off the bag. Runner takes off for 3. Throw is high, but able to maintain it. And just like that, Milwaukee has runners on the corners.
Now batting, number 27, shortstop, Teo Greco.
We'll have another base runner discussion. The third of the game for either team.
This is Greco, walking runner.
You know, their uniforms kind of remind me of the Baltimore Orioles hats, don't they? But I don't think they're orange. I think they're like a more red shade. I can't really tell.
I think a shade of. I think it is a shade of red, but not a deep fire engine red.
First pitch to the shortstop. He shows bunt, but gets hit by the pitch after pulling it back. But it looks like they're saying he may have leaned into it. Calling a foul ball. Ever since that 3-run fourth, the Raiders have been held scoreless. Have a great chance to score here. Throw down to second, cut off by Eli. Kloss knew it right away, heads back to third. So 2 runners in scoring position. Gorloks once again playing in on the infield grass.
So Webster's in a bit of a spot here again. No outs, trying to keep that deficit to just 1 run.
Next pitch in there.
So he should be swinging away now with 2 strikes.
Yep. Big pitch here. The 1-2. Chop to the left side. Not able to tag the man at third, but still able to get the out at first. What a play at the hot corner by Reed Hippis.
That is a nice play.
Now batting, number 20, second baseman, Chris.
Fortuitous that it's right there at the bag as well. Kept third baseman from, or the runner on third from being able to score as well.
So the situation the same. Now for the top of the lineup with Christian Bosk.
Milwaukee starting their 5th trip through their lineup now.
Yeah, they've been picking up a lot of singles. 12 hits on the day for the Raiders. Gorloks only giving up their first error of the day this inning. The 1-0 in there. A.J. Lee stands on deck. He's 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. Hit a triple in the third to start the scoring for the Raiders. There's an ugly swing by Bosk. And the count is 1-2. Matthews has produced some big-time strikeouts in his long relief appearance. Let's see if he can do it again. Here it comes. Chopper over the left side. It'll bounce over the head of Reed, scoring another run. And with a throw to home, Bosk heads into second. And now it's 6-4 Raiders.
Now batting, left fielder, number 13, AJ Lee.
That was just out of Charleston's reach. He's played a solid third base today. Some hard hit balls his way.
Everyone playing in on that infield grass. It's tough to read those choppers. We'll have another one here. This one go to Charleston. There will only be a play at first, and they won't even get it there. Another infield single, this time by A.J. Lee, his third hit of the day, and it's 7-4 Milwaukee.
The center fielder, number 25, Jake Franks.
And in what would be routine plays, men at second and third, the Gorlocks have had to play in. That's been the killer. Jake Franks steps up next, showing bunt right away. Another free pass to second. And once again, the Gorlocks are forced into that infield grass.
Still just one out.
The 1-0 taken away. If you get too far behind the count, might as well send Franks to first. Try to load the bases. You're already playing from behind.
That's what they're going to
Yep.
do.
There he goes. They won't try it with Jake.
Now batting, the first baseman, number 33, Camden Hoyer.
So the Ducks are on the pond for Camden Hoyer.
Camden's 1 for 4 on the day with a single in the 7th. He has struck out once.
Chance to put up a crooked number for the Raiders as he takes one downstairs. Already 2 runs on the inning, and it's still far from over. The 1-0 in there.
Webster wants to keep this damage, stop it here, because it's certainly 7-4 is tough, but they've got 2 shots at picking up those runs. But
Got to get out of this one, though. You compare it to the the bottom of the 7th. The Gorlocks had the bases loaded, no outs, were unable to capitalize. Meanwhile, Milwaukee taking full advantage in this one. The 2-1 is laced up Broadway. A long run for Theodore, and it burns him. Will go all the way to the wall. Boss scores. Lee right behind him. And it's a base clearing double for Camden Hoyer. And the Raiders will get that crooked number as we will have a call to the bullpen for the Gorlocks. Score now 10-4 Milwaukee. We'll be right back. Sophomore Bauer Dahlke trying to shut the door on the 8th for the Gorlocks. What's been a disastrous inning so far could be even worse as Erickson on the first pitch takes his base via hit by pitch. Baton is handed it off to Jordan Skolmer.
Matthews faced 17 hitters and gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. It was a tough outing. Did strike out 4.
Yeah, and like we said earlier, I mean, it was a tough inning, especially after giving up those first 2 runners. Both of them find themselves at second and third. The Gorlocks are playing on the infield grass almost the entire beginning of the inning. And that caused a few more hits to find outfield grass.
Yeah, the combination of the turf and then just, again, your point, not being able to position yourself where you would like to be defensively, given what they've got on the base paths, is tough. And clearly Milwaukee has some speed, and that doesn't help.
Yeah.
But they have taken, to their credit, they have taken advantage of every opportunity they've had.
They had left a few guys on base between that 4th and the 7th inning, but really came to play in the 8th. And the inning's still far from over for the Gorlocks. 0-1 gets away from Groves. Both runners advance. And once again, the Gorlocks forced to bring it in. The 2-1 taken away. Dahlke last weekend appeared in the North Park game for long relief. His most innings pitched on the season before that one was 1 1/3. He went 4 1/3 innings pitch, 1-run ball, giving up just 3 hits. Finds himself in a tight jam here as that one's drilled to left center, and now get down off the base of the wall. It's another 2 RBI double for the Raiders. As Milwaukee has put up a 7 spot in the top of the 8th. And we'll have another call to the bullpen for Webster. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. just like that, the Raiders threatening a mercy rule on the Gorloks.
And we are back where we started. Milwaukee's working its way through the lineup a second time this inning now.
Yeah. 7th spot in the inning, still not over. Man scoring position. Colin Johnson be the new man on the mound. Here's the 0-1. Inside. Charlie represents the 10-run lead for Milwaukee if he's able to score. Obviously, the Gorloks, no matter what, playing that bottom of the 8th. As there's a fly ball deep to left field, going back at the track, at the wall, and it's gone. A blast off the bat of Charlie Kloss. And it's 14-4 Raiders. My goodness. What an offensive explosion for Milwaukee. The baton handed off to Kyle Mayberry. In what was a relatively low-scoring game from both sides, it's turned to an impressive offensive output.
It was a back and forth.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be a back and forth game right into the end. And it's sort of hard to tell where the wheels came off. I mean, I think to your point, Milwaukee they got base runners and sort of forced some defensive choices that Webster had to make, and the hits they happened to be where they were. Yeah, they were just in bad places.
And the only focus for Webster now is just simply getting out of this inning. 10 men up and 9 men crossing the plate. The Raiders just simply will not work for the Gorloks. So they're threatening to end this one early. The Raiders put up a 0 spot in the bottom of the frame. And that's a called match.
Webster's bringing up the middle of its lineup in the bottom of this inning.
Count now full for Kyle Mayberry. Here's the payoff. Grounder over to the right side. Wheel has it. Goes to 1 and gets the out. So 2 gone now.
The shortstop, the 27, Teo Greco.
Greco, last man up. Potentially for the Raiders.
Johnson, a transfer from the University of Dallas out of Carlsbad, California. He's a senior. Trying to end things, and there we go.
And there it is. Gets out of the inning, however. The damage has been done. A 9 spot by the Raiders. Blows this one out of the water as the Gorloks trying to not end this game early. We're sent to the bottom of the 8th. Score now 14-4 Milwaukee. Reed Hippus starts the 8th inning. New man on the mound for the Raiders will be Zayden Eblin. Coming in for Zach Brzezinski, who had an excellent day, especially after a rough first few innings. We thought that he was going to be pulled early. Instead, he goes 7 strong.
Really settled down.
Yeah.
Really settled down.
Including getting out of a bases-loaded, no-out jam. Impressive guts, too, from the Raiders to keep him in, finish out that inning, as Hippus sends one into left, and they'll fall for a base hit. So the leadoff man is on. Gorloks have to score at least 1 to keep this game going. And look at this.
36, Noah Jensen.
Stepping up to the plate will be Noah Jensen. Now, Scott, do you want to tell me why this is a pretty important batter to you?
You know, he's just a good kid, I guess. Always has a smile on his face. Lives in my house. Well,
He's one of 2 of your 4 favorite kids because
Yeah.
he's a Cubs fan.
that's right. That's right. So the game's not over. You know, it's baseball.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the great thing about it. It's not over.
First pitch, swinging, fly ball into center, but that won't get down. Solid contact. Unfortunately, Frank's only had to take a few steps.
Now batting for Webster. Number 41, Andrew Zanakis.
Zanakis steps up next. Warlocks turn into their bench now. His first pitch down low.
Zanakis is a graduate student transfer from Eureka last year. Pretty good solid hitter, but deep, talented roster.
Mm-hmm. I believe we saw him club a homer in the postseason last year. He had some starting time following a few Gorlock injuries. The 1-0 taken away. Wind still blowing out to left field today. And on 4 pitches, Andrew will take his base.
Now batting for Webster. Number 32, Cal Tyner.
Cal Tyner up next. 3 straight pinch hitters for Webster.
Cal, one of the many Colorado natives on this roster.
Mm.
Freshman catcher. So we start something. You can't start anything until you got runners on the base. We've got 2 of them.
Yep. Tyner's already recorded his first collegiate base hit. It was a double. The 0 to Cal. Taken in the turf. I always want to call it the dirt, but everything is turf out there.
Everything is turf.
And sometimes you'll see fields with, you know, a clay infield, but a turf grass, both on the infield and out. But everything at Arsenal BG Ballpark, same kind of turf.
Not playing on the field, I don't have a first-hand knowledge of it, but as a fan, I like that field.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when not everything is turf.
Yeah. The 1-2. A good take.
But I also know in St. Louis Springs, it's handy when this is all turf because
Oh, yeah.
You never know. Why we're playing 6 games in 2 days this weekend. 'Cause we're going to have a wet Sunday.
Oh, yeah. 2s across the board for Cal. And he takes a backwards K, strike 3. The Raiders now just 1 out away taking this one via mercy rule.
Number 0, Talon Hutchings.
Another pinch hitter coming in, Talon Hutchings.
So Webster giving a lot of bench players a shot here. Trying to put one across so we can play a 9th inning.
Hutchings had a bit of time in the field last weekend, mainly as a defensive replacement rather than a pinch hitter. He sends one foul. Usually put him at second, moving Charleston over to short. Charleston's been playing shortstop all day today.
Hutchings is ahead on the count.
See Jonah Taylor standing on deck. The 2-1. Another one taken low.
You should see a good pitch here.
The 3-1. That one down the line, foul. Solid contact. Can't stay between the chalk. Taylor stands on deck. Recorded a hit against Dennison, who is now number 1 in the nation. So that's something you can take home. So 2 men on, 2 outs. Gorlock's down to their final pitch. Here's the payoff. Taken away for ball 4. So the bases will be juiced for Taylor.
Now batting for Webster. Number 7, Jonah Taylor.
And the defensive lineup will be really interesting if the Gorlocks are able to force a 9th.
It really will.
Taylor batting out of the 1 spot, replacing James Theodore. First pitch down low. I see A.J. Simmons stepping out of the dugout as well. The 1-0. Be in there.
You know, the one thing that helps, and not every squad can say this, but Webster plays a lot of JV games. So a lot of these bench players see a decent amount of time. They've got 10 to a dozen JV games on the schedule for the year. And that helps. It helps have your bench ready.
The sharp grounder over to second should be playable, and it is. So the Gorlocks fall to the Raiders in 8 innings, thanks to a 9 spot put up in the top of the frame. Want to thank you for tuning into the Gorlock Sports Network. My name is Kellen Furmanek.
Scott Jensen.
And stay tuned. In an hour, the Gorlocks will have another game against Oshkosh. Thank you guys so much.